Hey, good morning. Yes, you did. You made it, didn't you? Today is Friday, the 31st, which means it's Halloween. Hopefully, some of you are going to go out trick or treating tonight and score. So, before I get started with the video update on the tire changer and lowballer, sold full asking price yesterday at noon. So, like you say, Jason, if you know what you got, stick to your guns. And yes, I probably should have started it at like 700 and then brought it down some so somebody felt like they got a deal. But the guy that actually bought it and the ones that wanted to come look at it knew it was 1/10 of what new is. So it was a deal. The guy that bought it actually tried getting it for 300, and I said, sorry, you're wasting my time. And I started walking towards the shop. That's when he said, I'll take it. See, you never know. So that brings us into today's episode of you can't sell your work too cheap. That sounds simple enough, right? But I see so many of you guys doing this, and it's not a fault. It's just, it happens. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, October 31st of 2025. Today is Halloween. The kids have been out doing treat or trunk or something like that. A number of local businesses have put on these where they have the kids come and they have their trunks of cars full of candy and they get the kids candy. You know, I was asking my daughter-in-law, does anybody trick or treat anymore on Halloween night? And she said, yeah, that my two grandsons, she takes them out, but only to immediate family and to people that she knows around the block. She said it's a scary world out there with the drugs. And the last thing she wants is one of the grandkids to, you know, have something that was injected with something or what have you. You know, when I was growing up, we didn't have any of that. But then when I was raising my kids, the big concern was like a razor blade and an apple. You know, that was like the ultimate. Now, injections of fentanyl to, you know, into candy that are in wrappers. The list goes on. So times have changed. So let's get to the topic of the day, and that is you're selling yourself too cheap. Sounds simple enough, but yet a lot of us fail at that miserably. And I'll be honest with you, I'm one of them. I am. What I would do is I would look at the actual hours that it took us to do something, and then if I felt that the price was a little on the high side, I'd shave it down and I would eat what I dropped it to. And I thought I was doing everybody a good service. In a way, I was and I wasn't. The customer was thrilled. Of course, they got a better deal and they're happy. But when it came to the end of the week, end of the month, end of the year, you know, the profits were meager. They were there, but they were meager. And then I started here recently checking around to see what people are, what other shops are charging for certain stuff. And there's one shop that's a John Deere dealership. Just for a basic service, you're going to pay $500. The most expensive basic service that we've had, that includes air filters, spark plugs. I don't know what their basic is. But all of the above is around $240. So that's less than half of what they're getting. And I don't think they're giving as much away as we are. I think it's $500 for the basic service plus parts. Plus parts can add up in a hurry, right? And I found that out with, you know, a friend of mine's mom. She paid $800 to have her machine serviced. And that was with the oil filter, air filter, new battery. But $800? I have customers that complain about $400 when I give everything. But you get to choose the customers you get. All right. If you want the cheapskates, you're going to get the cheapskates. If you want the good customers, this goes back to a video I put out that if you go back a week or two, and it's you don't want a lot of customers. You want a limited number of good customers. Good customers that are willing to pay to have quality work done. Period. Not ones that are going to nitpick your bill, and not necessarily ones that have got the money, but it's hard to pry it out of their arms, their hands, right? So how and where do we find these quality customers? Well, we do quality work, and it starts at the shop. That means having a nice, clean shop, taking care of your stuff, and presenting yourself as a good quality shop. If you're not taking good care of your shop, then you're probably not taking the best of care of customers. At least that's what I have found customers feel. Claude made that mistake of saying that to me yesterday because he's looking for a shop to get his Corvette engine worked on. And I was telling him about this mobile business that they'll come right to him and do it. And he said no. He wanted to find a shop that would take his car and preferably use it as a fill-in through the winter. So when they weren't as busy, they could jump back onto his and it would be a cheaper price. And he wanted to go see their shop. Okay. And I said, what's so important about seeing their shop instead of having them come right to you and do the work? He said, well, an example, like if I went to somebody's shop and it looked like ours does out in the bays, I'd walk away. So why is that? Well, that shows me that they don't take pride in what they do and they've got a messy shop. So Buster, this one's on you. I'll take the heat for out here, but you have to take the heat for out there. And if you're telling me that since you don't clean up, that we're running a shoddy shop, maybe we need to concentrate more on getting the shop back where it should be and then doing quality work. If other people are looking at our shop out where he is, because the doors are always open when we're here, thinking the same thing, it never dawned on me. Because had it dawned on me, I probably would have forced that issue first. Now that I'm aware of it, I think that's where we need to first start. So we're going to enjoy our weekend. It's deer season here in New York. And starting Monday, we're going to be using a high pressure washer to do the floors, the walls out in his bay. Get those all cleaned up. I can do an epoxy finish on the floor. Things need to be picked up. All the oil containers out of there that are empty. Remove the tire machine out. Better lighting. And painting the walls white so that it brightens things up. Once we're done with that, we're going to move out into my area. Mine isn't going to require a lot of cleanup. It probably an hour. But it's got concrete floors, and I was thinking about doing the epoxy finish on that too with a hardener so that you can get different designs and do it yourself then. But you may be losing a lot of good quality work by how your shop looks. If it looks disorganized, then you're probably losing the better customers because they're thinking just like Claude was saying, that no, I wouldn't leave my vet with us because of how the shop looks. That mechanic doesn't take pride in what he's doing. And I'm like, huh? He's 74. We got to cut him some slack. He gets like this. Even I told him, I said, Claude, you're an auto mechanic by trade. You've got the building set up. You've got the heat set up. I'll give you a hand and we'll tear your vet down to put a new head gasket on it. Because his fingers don't work as well as they used to. They're numb. They get cold easy. So usually I'll go out and do all that fine tuning stuff and everything of putting nuts, taking nuts off, putting nuts on, what have you. But if you know what you're worth and your shop is giving the right message to those customers, then I think you're going to do well. But even if you're putting out quality work and your shop doesn't reflect the quality that is being put out, people are always going to think less than. And we don't want to be known as less than. When I go and close my doors, I want to go out with a bang. And that is being a really good shop that did well for the community. Because that's what I concentrate on most, is giving back to my community that I'm in. And if I take care of my community most normally take care of me, right, in the business. What do you think about that? You know, that you guys have shops and everything. Do you think that how it looks has a reflection on the customer's take on how well you do stuff? I think it does. Thinking about it. I've been thinking about it since yesterday, since Claude brought it up. Because, I hadn't given it much thought because I've concentrated more on doing quality work at affordable price and get them in, get them out. But people driving by looking at our shop probably, we don't have any big banner signs and stuff like that. People, when they show up, they say, we never heard of you. I say, well, we're the best kept secret in Northern New York. But not only do you have to not sell yourself short, you have to ask for a fair price. And I go to a massage therapist once a month. And when I first started going, because insurance won't pay for it, it was $50. And I've been with her now for 4 years. And now she's up to, I think it's 80 or 85. And I'm like, how can you raise the price that much? She said, well, Eric, inflation. Yeah. She said, well, the dollar isn't worth what it was 4 years ago. But for an hour session, you're charging 80 now instead of the 50? I said, I didn't raise our prices at the shop because of inflation. She said, well, that's not my fault. That's your fault. Which is true. But she said, if you have good quality customers, they will pay what you're asking. You don't need to have the nickel and dimers. If you're doing quality work, you'll stay busy. And if you're too busy with the nickel and diming customers, you're going to lose the good customers because they won't wait. They expect it done right, in and out. Thank you. So on that note, you guys have a great Friday, and I'm not sure about this weekend. I always say this, right? But if not, we'll catch you here bright and early Monday morning for another day of the weekday. Enjoy your weekend.